I say, you too. Been a long time. I shouldn't have left you. Oh man, it has been a long time. If it's your first time rocking with the boy, be the KING double three. That be me, King Spree, and you locked in with the real estate to hear me. I got more to the intro. I'll be saying a whole bunch of random stuff, but let's get straight to the topic at hand. A lot has changed. A lot has changed. During this time that I moved to Georgia, during this time that I've adapted to a new way of life, I've also welcomed a brand new baby girl into my family, my first child, or our first child, my girlfriend and I. Beautiful young baby girl, and very excited. Literally a month and 2 days old. Very excited. And I'm gonna touch on a topic that I touched on before, but you know, when it's real, and you have a different perspective of it. I made a couple videos a while back about parents, and I know the videos kind of seem like I'm blaming, but I want to get back to it. Recently, I've been really diving into researching what I need to do to financially prepare her for life. Sorry, I'm looking around, but I'm uncomfortable talking in front of the camera because it's been so long, and then I'm looking to see who's going to come see me. Even though I shouldn't even care. I'm over here at the Tesla spot getting the Tesla charged up. That also changed. We had to give the Hemi engine up. Time to move on. Time to be strong. But no diddy. So yeah, I was researching what do I need to do in order to make sure that my daughter will be financially stable. And when I say stable, I don't really mean stable, because as a parent, at least in my situation, and I'm a new parent, but I can't make her a millionaire. I can't make her a billionaire. And I also can't make you press that like button and subscribe to the channel. We back. I can't promise you nothing, but just stay tuned and see what we gonna do. I can't make her do certain things, but here's what I can do. I can put her in a situation where she don't gotta worry about small things. When I was coming up, I had to worry about, I don't have a car. I had to worry about the bike I'm riding, the pedals fell off and I gotta get pedals and I don't got the money for pedals. I had to worry about how I'm going to get from point A to point B. And mind you, as I'm trying to change my life, as I'm trying to go to school, as I'm trying to do things and just figure this whole thing out, I have all these small problems happening. I don't have a cell phone. I don't got money to eat. I don't have money for uniforms. I don't have money for all these things. And the reason, and it's a shame because my parents were not poor. My parents were considered middle class, and in some cases they would be considered a little bit higher than that, right? Making decent money, making over 100 grand each, making, well, I don't know if it was each, but I know my mother at least, living in a 6-bedroom gated community house. We're not talking about people that are roaches and rats. We're not talking about that. I can't lie and say that I grew up in a bad situation, because I did not. And sometimes I say, well, maybe it's just a lack of education, because we got to remember, back at that time, the education was hidden on purpose. And we all know that. It's beating a dead horse, but it's true. It was hidden then and it's hidden now. And in order for you to go out there and implement anything that you might have learned, you have to really go out, seek it, first of all. Then once you found it, you have to really go out of your way to implement it. For example, you take just adding your child to your credit card as an authorized user. I did that a couple of days ago. You would have to make a lot of calls and or go down to some bank to make that happen, if they even allowed it back then, to be honest. A Roth IRA, all these different brokerage accounts, the 529 plans, the UTMA and UGMA, all these things had to be, one, were they even in place? And the things that were in place that might have been under a different name, you had to go down to the bank and fill the paperwork out. And I can't blame a parent for not doing that, because the same way you might not change your oil when you're supposed to, or the same way, you know, I don't worry about no oil with the Tesla, you hear me? The same way you might not get those tires fixed, the same way you might have skipped on a haircut. I can see a parent being like, I'm busy, And going down there on my day off is just not something I plan on doing, so I keep putting it to the side. And they're not thinking about the consequences of what will happen when their kid's 18, 25, 30, so on and so on. But on the flip side, I'm saying to myself, like, well, even if you had to do that, isn't that a minor inconvenience in order to make sure that your kid has a fighting chance? Because the other cultures are doing that. The other cultures are setting the accounts up and putting them on auto pay. The other cultures are sitting their kids down to speak about how this money game work, but more importantly, how to make your money work for you. The other cultures are saying, hey, no, you're not paying no rent. What are you talking about rent? You take whatever money you making, and we're going to start doing this, that, and the third. And then I also got these accounts set up for you so you could do this. And I'll go with you to your first real estate closing so we could do this. And then once you get the real estate thing opened up, we're going to take it to here. And then once that's done, I'm going to introduce you to my friends that also do this. And they have opportunities over here. And before you know it, you locked in. You kind of locked in and fall into the position without even knowing what you're really doing. Because the other cultures are not thinking about when you're 18, it's done. They're not thinking about, oh man, I done did my job. Yeah, your turn now. They're not thinking like that, man. A lot of the other cultures are thinking like, yo, if I can make sure that you are good, then you gonna make sure that I'm good when the time comes, on a selfish reason. But then more importantly, in my lineage, my family, my last name can carry on. And no, everybody's not gonna be rich, man. I mean, not talking about being rich. But I don't know if y'all understand how this money thing is working, or has worked, or continues to work. It ain't just being rich anymore. You got to make a good amount of money just to be regular. Just to be a regamente dude. Just to be regular. You got to put some work in. No longer can you go to the factory, work the job for 30 years, retire, and go on vacations across the world on that pension. That's far and few in between. Those union jobs are done for the most part. There's still some, but you know, the concept of 33 years, 40 years working in the same place and then moving is gone. Most companies are not unionized. Most companies are not treating you well. And in order to get a raise, you have to leverage another job opportunity with the one you have in order to see a couple dollars an hour difference, in order to get a salary increase. And is it fair? No. Is it what our parents had to do? No, our parents were our parents were probably making $40,000 a year, $50,000 a year, and the houses were $100,000. My mom was making $100,000+ a year, and the house she bought was $230,000. A 6-bedroom, brand new construction, bidet, jacuzzi tub, pool, HOA, all that. It was $230,000. $230,000 in South Florida. That same house, and that house needs work for the record. That same house is $950,000 going for it. Nobody's lived in it since us. It was $230,000 in 2001. It's $950,000 in 2024. You do the math. Which really means it's probably 1.5 when if the work gets put into it. No, sorry, not 1.5, 1.1 if the work gets put into it. Maybe a little bit less, but. And I want to get my daughter and any other kids we might have in a situation where they can compete. But in order to make them compete, I have to set the foundation. They got to wear the right shoes in order to run as fast as the other people, and maybe even faster. Because if I don't put them with the right shoes, so to speak, they're losing a lot of traction. They're losing a lot of speed in just step by step. And initially that might not matter, but as you start to compound 1 year, 5 years, 10 years, but by the time they're 30 years old, they're looking around like, how can I get out of this situation? And I can't have that. Not when I know what I know. Not when I am who I am, and I'm saying, oh, I'm gonna do anything to make sure my kids and my family is secure. Well, if I'm gonna do anything, shouldn't that really mean anything? I'll do anything, right? If I'm going to do anything, shouldn't that also mean everything? Or am I going to do nothing? And these are questions that you ask yourself as you do this parenting game, and you do this game of just trying to figure this thing out. There ain't no manual to this thing, man. Like, I'm still here learning how to hold her and change diapers. But there's something to be said about the back end of it. There's something to be said about the back end of it. And the back end of it is, can I put her in a situation where she could compete? I don't need her worrying about books. I don't need her worrying about not having enough money for uniforms. I don't need her worrying about not having a cell phone. I don't need her worried about not having health insurance. If she get a toothache, she can't tell me because she knows we're poor. I can't have that. Can I put her in a situation where she compete? And if I can do that, well, then I've done a lot of my job. Provide, protect. I've done a lot of my job. Now, what y'all think in the comment section, man? The ones that the video, y'all stuck around and listened to it. I know I'm not overthinking it, but do y'all agree? Is it your responsibility to set your kid up the best you can? And yes, I do know you could do all the setting up you want to do, and they still go awry, and they still do whatever they want to do, and they still become a person that, you don't agree with. But that's not the point. Give them the opportunity. Otherwise, it's lazy behavior. If you're going to pretend like you did everything and you really didn't, just so you can say you did everything and no, you didn't. You were dropping them off at grandma's house. You got grandma being called ma and you being called big sis. You were dropping them off at grandma's house every so often. You was in the club doing the club thing, right? You was chasing after these dudes or these girls. You didn't redesign your life. You took the Instagram pictures and you put them and it was cute. 1 month, 2 month, 3 month, 4 month, right? You bought the matching Jordans. But while you were spending all that bread on this silly stuff, the accounts were empty. The accounts were empty. The cupboards were bare. So then when they get to the age of 18, well, not even 18, when they get to the age of 15, 14, high school age, and they realize, damn, a lot of my peers are doing things different. A lot of my peers have access to resources I don't have access to. Or maybe they don't. Maybe they're not saying that because they're in a school where it's similar people, which is a whole nother category about homeschooling, private school, and public school. But that's a whole nother category. Are we doing what it takes to get them to the next level, to get us to the next level? Y'all let me know in the comment section. Is it our responsibility to make sure financially they have a leg to stand on? Or should they have to worry about that themselves? The answer is the first thing I just said, the former. But, I could take different perspectives and see what people got to say. Like the video, subscribe to the kingdom. There's been a message brought to you by the good people over here at Spree ENT. We back, and it's going to make sense real soon.